I'm Cody, welcome back to RingReadyBoxing, and today we're going to be going through a follow along stretching / mobility routine which you can use either on recovery days or after a session. I wouldn't recommend doing this before a session or anything like that. I would do this either post session or on a recovery day to maximise what we're going to be going through. So without further ado, let's just jump straight in. Make sure you've got a little bit of space where you can fully stretch and you're not compact. But when you're ready, let's get to it. So first things, seated position, nice and upright. I just want you to practice doing little semicircles left and right with the neck, making sure we're keeping good posture. And we stretch the neck while we're warming the neck up, doing a bit of work on it, because if you're getting punched in the head at all, if you are sparring, then it's good to strengthen these muscles and make sure they are mobile so we can absorb the impact better. But if you aren't sparring or anything yet, it's still good to strengthen the neck because it can get tight, maybe from a job you do. If you're working in an office, it can slow you down, it can make you a bit stiff. So we're going to be looking at doing the full body today. Right, now let's just go left and right, just like this. Again, just taking your time. When it comes to the neck, it's not about rushing, it's not about stretching as far as you can, it's just about taking your time. There we go. And from there now, from this seated position, I just want you to take your feet and legs like this. So you want your feet just outside hip width, and you want to make like a triangle shape with both of your legs as much as you can. Then use your hands to stay nice and upright, and then from here I'm going to turn the legs over, and now we've got two 90-degree angles with the legs here, and switching along to the other side like this. Just keep following along with me and you can't really get it wrong. But this routine is about stretching and strengthening the whole body for the muscles, well, mainly the muscles you're going to be using a lot, like for your hips, if you're running as a boxer, or you do run, well, any sort of running at all, you want to make sure your hips are strong, and also you want to make sure they're strong when turning like this as well, because when you're throwing punches, you don't want to be restricted to any range of movement. So just keep going left and right in your own time. Again, just follow along with me and you can't really get it wrong. All right, so just like so. Let's go one more. Just like that. Now, I want you to stop in that end position from where you are. So if I'm face forward, you can see I've got two 90-degree angles, but one foot is pointing that way, and the other foot is pointing that way like this. What I now want to do is turn to the foot which is pointing that way. Obviously you could be on the other side facing that way, but I'm going to turn to my right like this. I'm going to put my hands on the floor and keeping my back as straight as I can. I'm just going to try and get down as low as I can, just like this. Use your hands as support and then come down nice and low, and just hold it there for a moment. Good, and then come back up, and we're going to do another switch with the legs like me. Just watch me, nice and slow, just like that to the other side, and then turn, and then just lean forward slowly, and then hold that end position there. There we go, just hold it there. Obviously try and get as low as you can, just don't hurt yourself. A little bit longer. And then come back up, watch me, just with the feet. We're going back to the starting position that we was in here. And now we want to take the knees out and bring the feet together like this. I want you to pull your feet in as much as you can. And then from there, you're going to push your knees out. And imagine you're trying to touch the floor with your knees from here. And then keep your back nice and straight. So really use your hands to pull on your feet, knees out, back nice and straight, and then just hold it there for a moment. Really great to open the hips up. Good, lovely stuff. And now let's take the feet straight in front of us And then from here, we're just going to go nice and slow and work a few reps on each side. So I want you to have your feet about hip width. And then from there, I want you to just slightly turn. I'm going to try and touch the outside of our foot with both hands. All right, so if you start on the right leg, so we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and one more, 5. Good. Now let's work the other side. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and one more, 5. Now we're going to work straight down the middle. 1, 2, 3, 4, and one more time, 5. Now I just want you to get your left hand on your left foot, right hand on the right foot. If you can't do that, honestly, don't worry about it. Just go as far as you can, hold onto your leg. We'll go as far as you can, then we're going to hold it here for about 10 to 15 seconds. Just stay along with me. Just feel that nice deep stretch. If you feel like you can go further, but don't hurt yourself. It should be a little bit uncomfortable. You should feel a bit of discomfort, but it shouldn't be painful. You shouldn't be thinking, oh my God, this is absolutely horrible. It should just be quite challenging. Hold it for a little bit longer. Good, and then come back up. Give the legs a bit of a shake if you want. Let them recover, let them relax. Now, I want you to go onto your knees like this, and then from this position, we're still going to stay on the lower body before we move on to the upper body. So now, I'll show you from the side this one. You want to go on all fours like this, and then come up into like a press-up position, and then get that right foot, bring it up to the right hand. So once you've got that, and now I want you to work some thread the needles, we're going to call them. So let me just move back here a bit so you can see this properly. So with my right hand here, I'm going to take it through to my left hip, and then up into the ceiling, like we're threading a needle. So come down, touch the left hip, and then bring it up like so. Just keep doing that with me. Obviously, if you need to pause the video at any point and do some extra reps, then go for it. But just keep working that pace, nice and slow. No need to rush it. Keep that back leg as straight as you can. I'm going to go for one more full rep. There we go. Now, hands back here, back into press-up position. Then let's work the other leg now. So it's down, touch that hip, come up and through, just like so. There we go. Again, just taking your time. It's not a race, it's not a rush. It's about getting it right and testing yourself. I'm just going to do a couple more here. There we go. You know what, I'll go one more. Touching the hip, then coming up. Good. Right, from there, bring the feet back, press up position, and now you're going to come forward and go into this stretch here. Cobra, seal, whatever you want to call it, but push that stomach out and then just stretch. Keep the shoulders down as well. Try not to shrug up. Keep them shoulders down and look up. And put some focus on your breathing as well, as it will get a little bit intense. And then from there, back into press-up position. Now, don't move the hands or feet. Just move the body back like this, as much as you can, and hold here. Push your shoulder blades in, and try and straighten the legs as much as you can. Think about pushing your heels to the ground. And just hold, good. And from there, back into that press-up position, bring the knees onto the floor, and now we're going to sit back like this, stretching from shoulders and back there. Just hold it there. Now I want you to take your right arm and point it at a 45-degree angle like this. and then take your left hand and take it over with it, and then push down again and continue with that stretch. To get the most out of this stretch, you need to be trying to grip onto the floor, straight arms, and then kind of trying to pull yourself away. Otherwise, you'll be holding a stretch for no reason and not stretching it. Good, now let's go back to the middle. Now take your left arm, 45 degrees, right arm, take it with it, and then come down and stretch again. Good, lovely stuff, just hold it there. A little bit longer now. And then back to the middle. Let's go back up into press up position. Now, we're gonna go a little bit more dynamic. So, where the feet are, go back into this stretch here, that downward dog, and then bring it forward into this one, the cobra. And then just keep repeating that a few times. You might get a little bit of a burn on the shoulders, which is absolutely fine, nothing wrong with that. But just take time on this one. Get a nice big deep stretch both ways. And just to clarify, I'm not a yoga teacher. I'm a personal trainer that does not enjoy stretching, so I'm trying to make it more interesting by making it more specific to boxing, and then help people like yourself stretch as well. I'm going to go one more rep on here, all the way back, and then forward like so. Good, right. Shake the arms off a little bit, give them a little bit of a breather. Now, last one to finish off, we're going to work on the wrists. So in boxing, obviously we do a lot of punching, so the wrist does take a lot of impact and strain. I'm just going to pull my sleeves up here so it's more comfortable for me. So, and when you're back in the seated position, from there, I want you to take your hands the other way around like this, and then place them on the ground. And then all you're going to do from there is walk them out with this one as far as you can. So remember, the wrists aren't a big muscle. You don't need to put them through a lot of stress or anything like that. So once you feel that little bit of discomfort, stop, keep your hands flat, and then just lean back slightly and push your hands into the ground. You should feel this stretch up the wrist, up the forearm. And again, it shouldn't be painful. It should just be a little bit uncomfortable. And then just hold it there. Right, let's rock forward a bit, take the tension off. Now let's go again. Come back, sit back as far as you can, get a little bit deeper. Keep the hands flat, just like so. Good, then come forward, and just really gently take the hands off the floor. Give them a little move around. Again, not very big muscles, quite tender. You don't want to damage them, so don't overdo it on this one. Now we're going to do basically the opposite. So you want your hands out like this normally, and just put them nice and close to your knees. And then from there, you're just going to sit your weight forward this time as far as you can, and put a bit of weight onto your wrist there, keeping the hands flat, giving them a bit of a stretch, and then holding it there. Focus on that breathing too. Good. Now let's sit back a little bit, take the tension off, and then lean forward again. And then go for an even deeper stretch if you can, but take your time on this one. Hands flat, remember. There we go, good. Come up, give them a little bit of a twist around, a bit of a move around, shake them off. And then last one on the wrist, you're gonna take the hands like this now, and then point them down onto the floor. Very gently with this one, don't put too much weight on them. You're just gonna rock left and right, whilst pushing your hands into the floor. Again, take your time. This one is going to be a little bit more intense or tender, so take your time. But this is a really good one if you've got a wrist injury. I've got a slight injury on my left wrist. This is something the physio actually showed me to help me strengthen in that end range. So if you do throw a punch and you jar your hand, or you mishit the punch and you don't hit properly, this is a good stretch to help you strengthen that area. So if you do mishit, you'll be a little bit more used to that sort of feeling, so you've got less chance of injury. Just keep going left and right. Good, then come up. Oh, that was a bit more tender. And then give your wrist a little move around like this. Just get that blood flowing, give them a bit of a shake about. Again, your wrists are a bit more tender, so you don't need to do too much on them. There we go. Boom. And that is your follow along boxing stretch routine. I tried to keep it as simple as possible today, but I quite enjoyed that. I think stretching can be quite a daunting thing, something you don't want to do. Is stretching needed? No, it's probably not needed, but it does have its benefits and it is useful. If you can fit in stretching, then I don't see why you wouldn't. You should try and fit some in. I think having a good basic level of flexibility and mobility is key. So I hope you found that useful today. If you want to see more stuff like this, then definitely drop a comment down below and I'll do more of it. I can make a little series on it. But otherwise, subscribe if you haven't already and check the description below, as I do have a free shadow boxing guide where you can learn boxing and improve your boxing skill from home. All right, so I hope you enjoyed that one. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. And that's Cody from RingReadyBoxing. I'll see you in the next one.